I'm going to be live with you, and I'm going to be making a honeycomb pendant. So if you're interested in seeing how to do that, I will show you right now. So what I'm doing is I'm taking some 20 gauge craft wire. This is just, coated copper craft wire probably from Michael's or somewhere similar. And I'm using these pliers, and these pliers have this little kind of square shaped base at the bottom. And I like to use these because this is the perfect way to bend those wires. They do make specific, tools for creating these straight lines like this, but these are super handy and they never steer me wrong. So what you do, let me try to focus my screen here. There we go. What I do is I put them here at the bottom, at the base, and then I create the curve by moving this piece of wire. So I just bend it, and what I'm aiming for is like a 45-degree angle. And I just do that until I have the 6 sides of a honeycomb. Welcome to my very first viewer. Thanks for joining me on today's live stream. Just like that. Okay, and so now I just want to make sure I have 6 sides. So I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I'm going to cut it off. So wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so I'm going to cut it off right there. And for that, I'm going to use a pair of flush cutters to make sure that I keep that corner sharp, like this. And there we go. So now I just want to start to kind of push them together, and I'm going to use a third pair. You could probably use those needle nose, but I like to use these, and I'm just going to kind of tilt the corners of each together like this to kind of give it a bit of a sharper edge. Very, very slightly. And I'm going to do that all the way around until maybe I'll move this out of the way. I was trying to stop the glare, but I think it's just creating more issues. Okay, so there we go. And then this one last little corner, I'm going to tilt inward. And now I have a honeycomb shape, just like that. And you can spend some time trying to, bending it to where it lays flat. You could even take this onto a steel block and pound it out and, give it that flat edge, which I think would actually look pretty cute. I think I cut my finger. Ignore that. So that's the honeycomb right there. I'm going to keep making a couple more of these. I actually made a few to get started with, but I'm going to make a handful more just so that you can see the action. So again, I'm using this, this 20 gauge or so wire. And I'm going to use the very base of these. And I'm going to place it right there at the base. And then on this side, I'm going to bend it. Bend. It's one bend. And you can even bend it pretty far and then kind of scoot it back a little bit. Like that. And then bend. and bend. So far I've got 1, 2, 3 sides, so I need 3 more. So 1, 2, and 3. There we go. So again, I'm looking for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines. And then I'm going to snip that off. So again, taking a look at this, I've got 6 sides, and now I need them to come together. And I'm going to do that by very gently using my other set of pliers here and tilting them in, and just making sure that those corners are nice and solid. There we go. It's okay if it doesn't fully come together, because what I'm essentially looking for is just that kind of frame. Okay, so now I have again, a 6-sided little honeycomb here. Yep, 6 sides. Okay, so I have a couple of them already made. Let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, there's 7. I'm gonna make 1 more to have 8. So another little bit of wire here. And then once again, with my pliers, I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and somehow I actually ended up with 7. So I'm gonna trim right at this angle, and that will leave me with 6 sides. Hi, thank you if you just joined. Thank you for joining. I'm so excited to have you here. What I'm doing today is making a honeycomb pendant. Pretty excited about it. I love this project. I think it's a lot of fun. I'm a big fan of bees, so you know, this is my little love letter to them. All right, so there's my 8th piece. And now I have 8 little pieces of my honeycomb. So the way I'm gonna do this is I'm gonna use some masking tape, and I'm gonna lay the masking tape down, put these into a pattern to, you know, however I wanna see them laid out. And then from there, I am going to use resin to create a honey consistency to see that drip down. So I'm gonna take my tape here. I'm gonna just take some off. And this is just regular. Hi, Soleil Moon. I love seeing your name pop up. Makes me so happy. Welcome. I think right now it's just me and you, girl. That's okay. Still gonna have fun. Okay, so I'm just gonna lay out some kind of wax paper just to protect my workspace. There we go. All right, that should be good enough. And then again, I'm gonna lay out some of this to put my little honeycomb pieces on. And I'm just going to bend parts of it on this side over. Same on this side. Let's see how elegantly I can do this. There we go. And this one unraveled, so there we go. Okay, and then I'm just gonna stick that straight down like that. And it's a little wax, this paper's kind of waxy, so it's not gonna stick super well, but that's not really the point. My point is I'm gonna use this to put my little honeycomb pieces on. So I made 8 of these. If you missed how to make these, it's at the very beginning of this, so you can watch it on the playback. But I'm gonna take these and just kind of lay them out. And I'm not looking for them to like lay perfectly. I pretty much just want them to kind of hold a shape, any shape, honestly, to try to keep it from moving around. And I'm just gonna put a little bit of tape over here on the side to hopefully hold that in place. Again, this is kind of like a wax paper, so it's not gonna be super, it's not gonna hold on to that adhesive very well. But here we go, like that. And then I'm just gonna lay these out until they're kind of touching in a, you know, like a funky shape to make it look like a honeycomb. And you can do this with any kind of copper wire. I've done this with like flat copper wire before, makes a really cool shape. So I'm just gonna stick that, have them touching like that. I'll put one here. And although honeycombs tend to be like, you know, they look pretty perfect when we're looking at them because bees are incredible, amazing architects, they're still organic pieces, so they're still going to, you know, move around. They're not every single piece of it or cell is going to be perfect, so don't feel like you also have to be perfect. Exactly. I was talking to my sister-in-law yesterday, and we were talking about how she planted a bunch of milkweed, and some monarch butterflies took up residence in her garden, and now they're like, like she planted milkweed for the pollinators, and now the pollinators have taken over. So I'm just gonna put this on a different spot. I like to make it so that the parts where the wire's touching, like where, you know, where it closed, I like for those to kind of face inward, because then they're more likely to get covered up by that resin. But yeah, I'm a big bee fan. Hopefully you are too. Or at the very least that you are not scared of them. Nothing to be scared of. Yes, milkweed gets milkweed brings those pollinators out in full force. Okay, and I think I want to put one up here. Maybe not. There we go. Okay, that's a fun shape. I don't normally work with this wax paper, so forgive me for it being kind of a mess. Here we go. I'm just gonna scoot this one a little closer. I really like to make bezels with wire like this because you can really just come up with so many cool things. Like if you can draw straight lines or an item out of like straight lines or S-curves, you can probably make it out of wire and turn it into resin art. So I always love that. Okay, so I have my piece of wire here. I'm actually just gonna get rid of this thing. That's not helping me at all. Okay, so I have my wire structure, And now I'm going to put resin on it. So let me put on a pair of gloves and find something to lay this down on, and I'll be right back. There we go. It's my little honeycomb structure. If you missed how I made these little honeycomb pieces, I did it using wire like this. Just 20 gauge craft wire, super simple. And then I bent it using some pliers and turned them into little honeycomb shapes. If we have time after I finish this part, I will make another one. I don't have anything else to do today, so. All right. So I'm gonna put on. You're good with it in your head, but it never turns out as you plan. You know, that's okay though, because sometimes you just end up with like a happy accident, like Bob Ross says, right? I will say though, I'm terrible at trying to bend things in one continuous piece. Like I've seen wire artists that could make this out of just like one piece, but I can't do that. Like I can't manage a whole big piece of wire like that. So what I end up doing is just cut it into smaller, more manageable pieces and almost like weld them together using my resin. Okay, so I have a little mixing cup. I'm gonna take my resin, and this is fairly cheap resin. I think I bought it on Amazon a while ago and shoved it into the drawer of my work desk and promptly forgot about it. And I just rediscovered it a couple weeks ago. So I'm just filling this up with a little bit of resin. I'm gonna just let it kind of tap to degas for a bit. I'm totally okay with it having bubbles though, because sometimes when you're looking at honey that's being poured out of, you know, a jar or something, it has bubbles in it, and that's totally fine. So I'm gonna take this. This is some Picasso alcohol ink, and it is the color Marigold, best color that they sell. And I'm just gonna put 2 drops in there and then reassess, you know, if it needs any more. Looks pretty honey-esque. I love this color, it's so nice. Okay, now I'm gonna just stir it up a bit. I'm gonna use this silicone popsicle stick. Just stir it a little bit. Try to get all that alcohol ink mixed in. I'm totally okay with it not being like perfectly mixed. If it has a few streaks in it, that's okay. I think that just kind of adds to the organic looking nature of it. But you know, your mileage may vary. I know I follow a lot of folks on Facebook and YouTube who are perfectionists. I'm a perfectionist at work for sure, but when it's just me playing with resin, I just like to see what it has to teach me. Okay, all right, so I've got that. It's looking pretty honey-esque. I might put 1 more drop in it. And again, if you're just joining me, that's a Marigold by Picasso. I love these alcohol inks. Everyone's always saying how they have the worst luck with alcohol inks. One thing to think about when you're working with alcohol ink is how concentrated is the alcohol ink, because if it's not concentrated, if it is like a very light color, then you have to put more in your resin, which is going to leave it very sticky. So keep that in mind. So I like that. It's looking pretty honey-esque. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna pour it directly on there. Like this. And I'm just kind of gonna let it go where it wants to, but I do want it to touch every piece of the wire. Okay, like that. And then I'm gonna use my UV lamp, which I have right here. Best UV lamp ever. I will stand by this guy forever. And then I'm gonna set this aside. And I'm going to turn this on. And then while it's on, I'm gonna let it drip a little bit because I want to get some movement. I'm just gonna turn it in different directions and let it move while everything is curing. Like that. I'm gonna kind of pull it away from that. And then it will eventually start to cure, and you'll start to see these drips actually like solidify mid drip. Like this might be the one. No, we lost that one, but it's gonna happen soon. There we go. Okay. So I'm just giving it a little bit of time to set up. Yeah, because see, the back side is still kind of dripping a little bit. I'm just going to encourage that one to fall. There we go. All right. So again, back side, front side, you want the whole thing to cure pretty well. And luckily, UV resin cures pretty quickly. I think it might be good now. I'm just going to very gently touch it on the back side to see if it's still sticky. Looks okay. All right, so I've got that. I'm gonna let that cure for a little bit, the drips that fell down. And then I'm gonna give this just a minute or so to cool down because I don't wanna try to peel this whenever it's still cool. Because I could possibly pull the UV resin out and I don't want that to happen. But also, if I do it while it's still really hot, this tape is all of the adhesive is gonna just stick to the piece. And I don't want that to happen. So I'm just gonna give that a minute or so. Now, one thing that you can do, like, obviously I'm aiming for a pretty natural looking spill of honey, but if you wanted it to be a bit more precise, you could take like some scissors or something while it's still kind of pliable and make it a little bit more stylized or trim it up, because like this isn't like a super, fun, pretty, straight down situation here, but I could like curve that and give it some more personality. So it just depends on what you want to do. You are the artist, so you get to do whatever you want. Okay, so I'm just gonna very gently start to peel this away. One thing to keep in mind with resin, yeah, it's still a little bit on the back side here, still wet. That's okay, because I'm gonna be coating it in a layer anyway. And peel this off. One thing about tape, like using tape to back a bezel like this, is that the resin, when it cures, is going to try to take on the finish of your tape. And that can sometimes be kind of ugly or not, quite what you're looking for. That's okay if you have that issue, as long as there's no actual residue on your piece. You can just coat it with a clear layer of resin and it will hide that. And I'll show you what I mean here in a moment. I just got sticky all over me. Okay, I'm gonna cure, I'm gonna cure my gloves for just a second. Just any stickiness, get that off. I only used the tape this go around because I was working with wire. If this was, you know, if I had bought bezels that were honeycomb shaped like this, I may have just used the silicone pad because I find that I tend to get a better finish that way. Then I don't have to go through and like recoat everything. But because these are not perfectly flat, and they do kind of fall down. That's why I went that route. Okay, so set this aside. And now I have the back side up. So you can see that kind of like frosted finish on the back. I don't super love that. So what I'm gonna do, let me move this out of the way. Like that. I'm gonna take this little bit of resin. I'm gonna put it right in the middle here. And then I'm going to use my dotting tool and I'm just gonna push that around until it coats the back side. If it drips a little bit, that's okay. I'll just snip it off later. But for now, I'm just gonna go through and make sure that this spreads all over so that it heals those weird frosted areas and gives me a nice shiny finish. That's what I'm going for. Another thing you can do if you're working with like natural copper wire, this copper wire is like craft wire, so it has like coating on it. But if you were working with natural copper wire, you could actually, you know, tarnish it with some sulfur, liver of sulfur first. That way it would have a dark antique finish to it. I couldn't actually find my copper, but that's okay because I wanted this to be kind of like a nice bright look to it anyway. Okay. All right, I think I covered all of the frosted area. So I'm gonna do another cure. And again, if there are bubbles and you hate the bubbles, you can use a lighter or something, a heat gun, to pop them or to get them to rise. I personally don't mind bubbles at all. Like I always, it breaks my heart because I'll be on Facebook and I'll see like new folks that are in resin that are just devastated that all the hard work they put into a piece was ruined because of all the bubbles. And I'm like, you know what? Like if you hadn't said anything about those bubbles, that was like the last thing I noticed. So, you know, if you're that type of person, if the bubbles are hurting your heart, please just embrace them. Sometimes they make your piece even prettier, and that's how you know that a human made it or that it's made of resin instead of glass. Like just, you know. But alas, typically, listen, I'm a corporate trainer, so my job is to cheerlead. So if you don't believe in yourself, I will believe in you for you. Okay. All right, so I'm flattening this out because I'm going to do a clear coat on the front too, just to give it a little bit more stability and make sure that it is nice and solid. Exactly. That's exactly right. Bubbles are gonna happen. Embrace them. They didn't ruin your piece, I promise. Sometimes they even make them prettier. Like I saw one where someone like kind of did a almost like an aurora borealis, and it was gorgeous, and the bubbles just kind of made it look like a night sky. And I was like, you are saying that it's horrible and you hate it, but I love it. So yeah. Okay, I think I got all of that. Put just a tiny bit more over here. There we go. And I think I'm happy with how thick that looks. Yeah, all my friends tell me that I am a hype girl extraordinaire, which I take as high praise. If you don't believe in yourself, I'll make you believe in yourself. There we go. Some clear kind of dripping off over there. It's okay, I'll just trim that off later. There we are. I really love this kind of honeycomb effect. It looks so cool. All right, I'm gonna give it a chance to just kind of lay up here for a minute to let it fully cure. While I do that, I'm gonna get these ready. And I think what I wanna do is I am gonna try to trim some of this away and like get it to go kind of into this drip here. So let me make sure that it's nice and cured. Put my gloves aside because I'm not using any more resin. Here we go. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I think whenever I first started working with resin, I was just this was a long time ago. I was in my early 20s, and I kind of learned in a bubble. Like there wasn't a big online community, or maybe there was and I just didn't know how to find it. But it certainly isn't like it is now. And so I didn't know any better. I was like, oh, there's a bubble. Okay, that's okay. Now people are like, oh my gosh, the bubbles, how, and there's all these machines and things to get rid of them. And I guess I didn't know any better. So I was like, I'm just going to enjoy the pieces that I make and not worry about bubbles. This is a piece I made the other day. See if I can, because I had some leftover resin and I just wanted to use it up. And I have a crystal point mold, and these are little flowers in there and a corn silk thing, or I think it's a piece of wheat. And I just made that, and there's bubbles in it, but like I love how that looks. I think it looks really pretty. So anyway, bubbles are my friend. All right, so here she is. And then, like I said, I'm gonna try to give it a little bit of shaping. And I'm gonna do that with these. And I'm just gonna kind of chip away at it a little bit. Here we go. You guys didn't see that. But okay, so there we go. That was a lot easier than I thought it would be. I'm gonna just clear away this bit over here. There we go. Awesome. And there we go. And then all I have to do is add in a bail and it will be ready for a necklace. Ta-da! Love how that turned out. Awesome. Okay, so when I first put the poll up on my page of what people wanted to see, exactly, of what people wanted to see, this won when I said that I was going to do the live stream. But since then, the moon that I posted as well caught up to it. So what I think I might do, if you want to stick around, I'm going to make one of those moons as well and just kind of show you how I do that. And again, you can stick around if you'd like. Otherwise, I'll see you next time, next week here at Red City. I'm just going to clear some of this stuff out of the way. For that, for the moon, I'm gonna use this. It's like Parawire brand wire from Hobby Lobby, I think. So I'm just gonna take some of this off. Just clip it off. I need to wrap it around something that's round. This looks like it'll do just fine. It's my alcohol bottle. And I'm gonna wrap it around as many times as it will go. And what I'm aiming to make is like a crescent moon. So here we go. I'm gonna cut it right here. Let's see. Right there. And then right there to keep it kind of nice. Like that. Hi, Rose Donna, welcome. Excited you could join me. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving. There we go. So there's one circle, and then here's another circle, or another half circle anyway. Okay, what we're doing, so Rose Donna, since you just joined us, we just made this honeycomb pendant. I haven't decided which way I want it to hang yet, but it's looking really cute. And now I'm gonna make a little moon pendant as well, since there's still time. I allotted for about an hour for this and didn't take as long. So this is kind of what I'm gonna be making, but I'm going to snip this like that. Ooh, fun. What's your first project gonna be? Okay, so I'm going to lay this down, like that, and then I'm going to drip resin here and here. That's such a good idea. I love that. Well, I'm glad you got one. It's a lot of fun. I haven't used mine in a very long time. I think the last thing I made with mine was a birthday card for my brother, whose birthday was November 11th, but I made it for him last year. So over a year. But hopefully you'll find a lot of cool things to do with it. Okay, so I've got my glove back on. And then, like I said, I'm gonna put a drop of resin there and a drop of resin there. I'm gonna do this just so that I don't make a huge mess. So I have a little bit right there to work with. I'm gonna pick some up, drop it, just enough to coat those corners, and a little bit on this side. And I want this to lay a bit flatter, like that. Push them together a little bit more. And then I'm gonna cure. Like that. Like I said, if you can make a curve or a straight line, you can make just about any shape out of wire. You certainly don't have to go out and buy a bezel for every occasion. Okay. So just put in a little bit more, and then I'll cure again. If you're new to my channel, if you're interested in the tools that I use, the most recent video is a breakdown of all of my favorite tools, and I have the video covers like kind of what tool I started with as a beginner and what I graduated into as I, got more experience. So if that's something that you think would be helpful, check that out after this stream. Okay, so she should be ready now, like that. And then I'm just gonna trim off the excess. And it may or may not break apart. If it does, that's okay. I'll just glue it back together, like that. And then other side, like that. And there we go. Okay, so now I have a moon. I'm gonna just lay that right there, and I'm gonna try to scoop up as much of this as I can. I think it may have already started to set. That's okay. Okay, so I'm gonna just lay this here, and then slowly I'm going to fill it with the resin. That. Now I didn't back this one with tape because I knew it would hold itself together pretty well. You could use tape if you're a little less confident, but I love just using my silicone pad as my backing piece because it will guarantee a shiny finish. Got lots of resin stuff on Black Friday. Yes, I am so excited for you to show me what you make. So definitely when you make your first project, listen, even if it turns out terribly, come show me because I want to see it. Like I said, if you can't be your own cheerleader, I will be your cheerleader. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna cure it. Like that. The wire tends to come out once, like the resin comes out of the wire. My suggestion is to start in the middle, like put a little dollop of resin in the middle and then slowly edge, like use a tool to push it to the corners, because if you just kind of fill it in all the way, then there will be too much resin, and it's kind of like when a levee breaks. Like there's a certain point that a levee can still, even if the water rises too high, it'll still hold on, but if it's too much, it will overwhelm and spill over. Resin is very it acts like water. Now, there are going to be some spots on my piece. I think this is ready. There are going to be some spots on my piece where where the resin did pool outside. So like, I'm trying to get it to focus. There's a little bit here, like there. Kind of hard to see, but it's not too bad. But like I can go in with an X-Acto knife, or even like if I wait until the very end, I could drill it out if I needed to, but that's okay. Like anything that goes wrong, you can probably fix it. But now I have this little piece, and I'm going to add in a couple of little. Let's do some flowers. I'm going to put some flowers in there. Before I do that, though, I am completely obsessed with the nail powders. Right now, my husband's like, you ordered more nail powders? But I really love these. I'm wearing some right now. I'm going to take this and brush it over the moon. if I can get it open without spilling it everywhere. The other day, some of my followers might remember, but the other day I was like playing around with stuff on my lunch break. I get to work from home. I'm very blessed that way. But I was playing around with some of this stuff on my lunch break and literally spilled the entire jar on my work desk. And my hands were sparkling like Edward Cullen. Okay, so I'm just gonna put a little bit of that there. Gosh, it's so pretty. I love it. Look how gorgeous. And just tiny touch of some. And this works best if you don't completely cure your resin. I think mine's a little bit past a really good cure. Like I think it's fully cured. But if your resin's still a tiny little bit tacky, this will work really nicely. This stuff is designed to work with like gel nail polish. So if like whenever you're getting your nails done, they don't fully cure your nails before they put this on, because that's how it maintains its kind of chrome effect. Y'all probably don't care. You're like, Mary, I'm not here for nail tips. And I'm certainly not here to give them to you because I'm not very, I don't wear fake nails or anything. I do my own. But anyway, I'm just kind of blabbering. Okay, so I have my moon. Gonna grab some flowers. Okay, got some flowers here. I'm just gonna pick some out. Do one of those. A little bit of this. That's pretty. Don't want that. Maybe this green one. These little ones over here, kind of nice. If I don't break it. Okay, that should be good. Okay, so now I'm just gonna kind of like lay them out to see where I want everything to go. Like that. So I'm gonna resin them into place, and then anything that's still outside of the frame, I'm gonna trim away. Just make sure there's nothing in this one that I want. I don't use these a ton, but they can be really cute. There we go. That should be good. Okay, so set them all aside. Put a little bit of resin down. Like that. And I don't want this to like fully fill the moon. I just want enough to stick these flowers down into. Like this. There we go. Cool. Now I'm going to start laying things down. Like that. Just kind of scoot it into whatever spot I want. We'll put one here, like that. Put another one there. some there. And then let's see, we'll maybe just finish it off with another piece of this. Like that. And then again, anything that's kind of like beyond the frame, I'm gonna trim away after I cure. Okay, like that. You should. They're actually not that hard. Doing your own nails is this stuff right here. If you're into like long nails, this stuff makes doing longer nails very easy. You just get I know this isn't like a nail channel, but you just get some of these frames like that. Or I guess they're not frames, they're called jewel forms. And then you just press some of that gel into this, press it onto your nail, and then cure, and it actually works really well, really well. Yes, actually, you know what? Everybody hates on the dollar store, but the Dollar Tree has really good craft tools. And their Cricut stuff is actually really nice. I have a lot of their, I think they're called craft square, like this, from the Dollar Tree. It's great. Okay. Yeah, we're feeling good there. Okay. Now I'm going to do another layer. I'm going to do this slowly and build it up until my flowers are totally encased, because this will spill over very quickly if you let it. Okay. Like that. My husband always teases me and says that I'm like the only person that can go into the dollar store and spend like 50 bucks. But their craft supplies are so good and you get so much for your money. Okay, I'm gonna cure that. I know everyone talks about, like, I have friends in a Discord group that say, I live in the UK and I know what a dollar store is, but I don't have a Dollar Tree, and the Dollar Tree is specifically the place that has like all the best stuff. They always have such cool things. I really like their storage items as well. Sorry if this keeps going out of focus. There we go. All right, looking good. I think maybe another layer or two and it should be fine. And I think what I'm gonna do, just to give it a little bit of razzle dazzle, is I may put like a crystal or something right there in the middle. I'm trying to see what I've got here readily available. Okay, put down another layer. Again, I'm trying to keep it from spilling over the side, which can be tricky. Takes, a lot of practice. But if it does spill over, that's okay too, because I can just kind of file it away or use my rotary tool to get rid of any excess. Okay, like that. Yeah, I'm gonna find a little something to put right there. Oh, there we go. Okay, so I have some of these little guys here. What do I want to use? I think I'll just use one of these little blue rhinestones, like this. I will totally tell him that. Pull out a couple of those, just in case. I'll take some of these tweezers to place them. Then I'm going to do one there, one there, one there. And I'm going to make sure that they're spread apart a little bit. There we go. And now I'm going to cure. If you're new to the stream, we made this at the beginning. This is a honeycomb pendant. I'll have to style it later with some wire or some chain. But if you want to see how this is made, go back and watch the beginning of the stream. And then now we're making a little moon. I'm just giving it an opportunity to cure. Looks pretty solid. There we go. And then once it cools down, because I don't want to touch the face of it until after it's completely cool, or it will definitely start to attract fingerprints and anything else. So I want to make sure it's totally cool. But whenever it is, I'm going to trim away any of this excess flour, like there, here, anywhere the flour goes beyond the frame, I'm going to just trim that off. Okay. I can still feel it's kind of warm. So I'm going to let it do its thing. Wish this let me, there we go, that's better. You can kind of see it a little bit better. So far I really like it, it's very cute. Could make a bigger one and turn it into like a Christmas ornament. I might do that. Awesome. Cool. Okay. I think it's cool enough that I could probably trim it. I'm still going to try to avoid. Yeah, definitely. I can make a video like that for sure. Just clearing off anything that went beyond. Some of it I might have to take like an X-Acto knife too. Let's see. There we go. Yeah, any video you want to see, just let me know and I'll add it to my list. I love it. It turned out so nicely. I even like I see stuff like this and I'm like, man, can I turn that into a ring? Because I love big, chunky, flashy rings. So she turned out so cute. Oh, yay. Yes, let me know which your favorite one is, because no one ever tells me that. No one ever tells me if they don't like a video. Like, I need to know that so that I know not to make another one like that. But but yes, so that's my moon. This is my honeycomb. And I think I'm gonna do it just like this. Like, I might put a bail here and let it hang just like that, because I love kind of the, oh, whoops. I'm gonna put a bail like right here and hang it kind of like that, because I feel like that would be a cool asymmetrical look. And what I'm probably also gonna do is build it up a little bit more by adding more standard resin. And that way I can kind of, what's the word? I can sand down these edges, because some of them are a little bit sharp and I want them to be nice and smooth. I could also even, like, I have a little silicone cup that I can pour resin into and dip it. But I don't want to lose this detail down here. I really like how that looks, because it looks like it's spilling. And I don't want to lose that, but so I may just, again, like, just keep building it up by putting some resin on it and then kind of pushing it out like that. But I'll make sure I post photos of this in the community page when you, so when you get a chance. I know, right? It looks like you could just literally put it on some toast. If you're in the market for some good alcohol inks, Picasso makes my favorite alcohol inks. They're super, super pigmented. This is 3 drops of marigold to 1 of these little cups, and it's really saturated. And because you don't need a lot in your resin, once it cures, it actually does fully cure. And I guess what I'm getting at is, like, you don't need a lot of this to get a good color payoff, which means that you can not worry about it messing with the curing properties of your resin. And this is just some cheap resin from Amazon. But if you want really good resin, check out Let's Resin or Jadiction or Resin Rockers. Those guys are all great. Awesome. You should. You should. Check the link in my description. I have a link there. I think the ones that I normally buy, the Picasso alcohol inks that I normally buy, I want to say they're on special because of Black Friday. So check that out. But I want to thank you all for joining me for my very first live stream. It's been a pleasure having you at my desk. And if you have any questions about anything, put them in the comments of the video, or come find me on Facebook or Instagram at Rad City Resin, or Rad City, I think they're both Rad City Resin on Instagram and Facebook. It might be Rad City Art. You'll find those links down in my description. Thank you all for joining, and I can't wait to do this again. So if you have any ideas for a live stream, let me know what they are. Otherwise, I will see you on my next video. Bye.